What if June Osborne isn't done fighting, but just getting started? At the end of Season 6, Episode 10, June didn't walk away with fear. She walked with purpose. Her face told us everything. That look in her eyes wasn't just exhaustion. It was resolve. Fans are now wondering, is June ready to bring the fight to Gilead one final time? Or will she try to escape once again? And if so, at what cost? Let's break it down. June's journey has never been simple. She's not just a survivor, she's a symbol. From her first days as a handmaid to her escape and resistance work, every choice she makes shakes the world around her. But in the final episode of Season 6, we saw something new. June was pushed harder than ever. Her body hurt, her mind was tired, and yet she refused to disappear. This wasn't weakness. This was transformation. We saw her at the train station. The baby, in her arms, the sound of sirens, the tension in the air. These weren't just signs of trouble. They were signs of something breaking. And when June turned, she didn't look afraid. She looked like a woman who had finally made a decision. Let's think about her past for a second. In earlier seasons, June often acted with emotion. Sometimes she ran, sometimes she fought, sometimes she stayed silent. But in Season 6, her choices have become sharper, colder, and more controlled. She's learning how to play the long game. She's becoming what Gilead fears most, a rebel with patience. Now fans are asking, what will she do next? Some believe June will disappear into the shadows and plan a bigger rebellion. Others think she'll return to Gilead in disguise like she has before, to gather intel or even rescue more children. But the most powerful theory is this. June won't hide anymore. She will go public. She'll rally others. She might even lead a group of survivors and allies to bring Gilead down from the outside. Her relationship with Luke also plays a big role here. In Episode 10, the cracks between them grew deeper. Luke wants safety. June wants justice. These two desires don't mix well. And if Luke is truly gone or out of reach, June has even less to lose. That makes her more dangerous. And don't forget the biggest hint of all, the voiceover. In her last words of the episode, June didn't talk about fear. She talked about choice. That's no accident. The writers want us to feel the change. The old June tried to survive. The new June is about to strike. This brings us to another fan-favorite theory. What if June becomes the face of a new rebellion based in Canada? Think about it. She has the experience, the name, and now, the fire. The international community already knows her. What if she uses her story to bring world attention back to Gilead's crimes? She could become more than a symbol. She could become a threat. And then there's the question of Hannah. June hasn't given up, not even close. In fact, many fans believe her entire strategy now will focus on getting her daughter back. And she won't ask for help this time. She'll take what she needs. Episode 10 left us with a quiet scene, but it spoke loudly. June didn't say much. She didn't need to. Her silence was a roar. That's why so many fans are convinced June isn't done. She's just loading the next chapter of her fight. Gilead may think it's safe behind its walls, but a storm is coming. And its name is June Osborne. She once helped build Gilead. Now she might be the one to burn it down. Serena Joy Waterford has changed. Again. But is it real this time? In Season 6, Episode 10, Serena's silence speaks volumes. The camera lingers on her face, her hands, her baby. Not much is said, but so much is felt. And now fans are left wondering, is Serena finally ready to betray the very system she helped create? Or is she about to twist it to her own advantage? Serena is one of the most complex characters in The Handmaid's Tale. She isn't just a villain. She's a mother, a survivor, and above all, a strategist. From Season 1, she played both sides of the game. She demanded power, but also followed the rules of the world she helped build. But as Season 6 ends, something has shifted. Serena looks tired. Not just physically, but spiritually. For once, it seems like she's questioning everything. Episode 10 showed us a version of Serena that's been building all season. A woman who has lost her husband, A woman who gave birth in pain and fear. A woman who now holds her baby and sees the cost of the world she once praised. She isn't screaming. She isn't preaching. She's quiet. And that's why it's so powerful. Let's talk about her motherhood. That's the key to her shift. When she was pregnant, Serena still clung to her old ways. She wanted safety, recognition, and control. But once the baby arrived, all of that cracked. The cold, proud woman began to show something else: fear, softness, and yes, guilt. Now she's no longer just living for herself, she's living for her son. And Gilead is not a safe place for either of them. This is where theories begin to take shape. Some believe Serena will go back to Gilead and try to rebuild her power base. After all, she knows how to manipulate its leaders. She knows its weaknesses. And if she plays her cards right, she could rise higher than ever. Maybe even take Commander Lawrence's place beside the council. But others, and this theory is gaining serious momentum, believe she'll go in a different direction. That Serena will finally turn on Gilead. Not for revenge, but for her son. Episode 10 shows us Serena watching, waiting, calculating. She knows she's being watched. She knows Gilead wants her back under control. But she also knows something they don't. The system needs her name and her story to survive. And she can use that. Here's the theory. Serena becomes a double agent. She pretends to align with Gilead while secretly feeding information to resistance groups in Canada. She uses her platform to quietly help June or even expose Gilead's crimes to the outside world, all while pretending to be the obedient mother they expect her to be. It's the perfect cover. But there's a darker theory, too. What if Serena hasn't changed? What if her transformation is just another act? Some fans believe she'll twist the role of motherhood into a weapon, that she'll raise her son to believe in Gilead's mission, that she'll teach him to take her legacy forward, and in doing so, become even more dangerous than she ever was. That soft expression in episode 10? It might not be guilt, it might be planning. Let's not forget the potential for a surprise alliance. June and Serena have been enemies, friends, and uneasy allies. Could Season 7 finally push them into working together for real? Both want to protect their children. Both know how Gilead operates, and both have nothing left to lose. If these two join forces even for a short time, Gilead might not survive it. Serena Joy is no longer just a villain. She's a wild card, a character who might bring Gilead down from the inside, or rebuild it in her own name. Episode 10 didn't give us clear answers, but it gave us a warning. Watch Serena closely. Because the most dangerous person in the room is the one who says nothing and thinks of everything. He knows every rule because he helped write them. But now, he's breaking them quietly, one by one. Commander Joseph Lawrence is the kind of man who plays chess while everyone else is still arguing over checkers. In Season 6, Episode 10, he barely speaks, but his presence fills every room. And fans are asking the real question. Is Lawrence trying to save Gilead or destroy it from the inside? Commander Lawrence has always been a mystery. He helped create Gilead's structure, its rules, its ranks, its cold efficiency. And yet, from the very beginning, he's shown signs of regret. Not guilt that breaks him, but guilt that drives him. Episode 10 gives us more of that complexity. One moment he's advising power, the next he's offering quiet kindness. But what's real, and what's strategy? Let's go back to his key scenes. Lawrence doesn't shout. He doesn't punish. He doesn't make big speeches. But when he speaks, everyone listens. Why? Because even the other commanders know he sees the whole board. That's why fans believe he has a deeper plan, not just to survive, but to reshape the entire game. There's a theory growing fast. Lawrence wants to reform Gilead, not destroy it. Some believe he sees the system falling apart. Too many rebellions, too much resistance, not enough unity. So instead of holding tighter to the old ways, he's adjusting, slowly, carefully, behind the scenes. Think about his push for new. Bethlehem, a city that was supposed to be more lenient, more open. Critics saw it as a trap, but maybe it was a test, a way to see if Gilead could evolve. But here's the twist. Others think Lawrence has no faith in Gilead at all. that he's been slowly laying the groundwork to tear it down. Remember his relationship with June. He didn't have to help her, but he did. He didn't have to show mercy, but he did. It wasn't random, it wasn't emotional, it was strategic. He knows who June is. He knows what she can do. And perhaps, deep down, he believes she's the fire that Gilead needs to end. Episode 10 shows us a tired Lawrence. His face is drawn. His words are slower. Some fans think he's dying, or at least running out of time. And if that's true, then his actions now carry more weight. He might be making moves not to save himself, but to set the stage for something. After he's gone, maybe a peaceful shift, maybe a bloody end, or maybe both. Let's talk about his relationship with Aunt Lydia and Commander Nick. These two characters may seem like side figures, but they're part of Lawrence's puzzle. Lydia has begun to question the cruelty of the regime. Nick still has feelings for June. Lawrence keeps them close for a reason, maybe because he sees them as pieces in the final play. If he falls, one of them might carry out his vision, or protect someone important. There's also the idea that Lawrence is playing a double game with the council. Outwardly, he follows orders, but quietly, he adjusts them. He softens them. He delays them. That's not incompetence. That's resistance. Silent resistance. And sometimes that's the most dangerous kind. What if Lawrence is trying to build a bridge between Gilead and the rest of the world? Not for peace, but for power. If he can create a more acceptable version of Gilead, he might protect it from collapse while gaining international support. But in doing so, he could betray everyone still trapped inside, including June, including Hannah. And yet fans can't quite label him a villain. He's cold, yes. He's selfish at times. But he also shows something rare in Gilead: regret. A sense that what was done cannot be undone, but maybe, just maybe, it can be changed. So where does that leave us? Lawrence could be Gilead's last hope, or its greatest threat. He might die a hero, or live long enough to become something worse. But one thing is clear after episode 10. He's not done. He's watching. He's planning. And when he finally moves, everything might collapse, or transform. What if Gilead's most feared woman became its greatest traitor? Aunt Lydia, the woman who once broke handmaids with a flick of her cane and a whispered scripture, is no longer the same. In Season 6, Episode 10, her sharp edges are still there, but the cracks are showing. She's questioning. She's hesitating. And for the first time, she's showing something dangerous in Gilead's world: compassion. For years, Aunt Lydia was the iron hand of Gilead, the face of obedience, the symbol of female loyalty to a brutal system. But deep down, Lydia was never truly blind. Her cruelty came from belief, from fear, from survival. And now, those very things are breaking apart. Episode 10 offers subtle, but powerful hints that Lydia's loyalty is beginning to change. Her interactions with the handmaids have softened, not completely, but enough to notice. She watches them with worry, not just control. She scolds less. She listens more. For Lydia, these are massive shifts, and they tell us something vital. Her faith in Gilead is crumbling. One scene in particular stands out. Lydia walks past the children in the red center. Her eyes linger longer than usual. Her expression flickers. It's not pride. It's pain. That's the moment fans are now pointing to as a possible turning point. She's starting to see them not as instruments of divine order, but as girls, children who were stolen like Hannah. The fan theory here is bold but believable. Aunt Lydia is going to turn. Maybe not loudly, maybe not with guns or speeches, but quietly, intentionally. Perhaps she'll begin helping handmaids escape. Perhaps she'll pass messages, delay punishments, or mislead commanders. She has access, she has trust, she has power. And if she uses it right, she could save lives without Gilead even noticing. But it's not just about guilt. It's also about legacy. Lydia has always seen herself as a teacher, a protector of moral order. But what if she starts to realize that Gilead's order is not holy, but hollow? What if she's beginning to understand that the system she helped uphold is destroying everything it once promised to protect? This makes her one of the most dangerous characters in the story, not because of what she's done, but because of what she might do. If Lydia turns, she can open doors no one else can. She can challenge Gilead from within the very walls it thinks are safe. But here's where the tragedy might strike. There's a theory that Lydia will try to do the right thing, but die before she can finish it. A redemption arc cut short. A sacrifice that buys time for June or for Hannah. Maybe she'll take the fall for another woman. Maybe she'll block an execution. Or maybe in her final act, she'll turn her back on the council and walk away from everything she built. Still, not everyone is ready to forgive her. And that's where another layer of theory comes in. Some fans believe Lydia's shift is real, but too late. That no matter what she does now, she can't undo the years of pain she caused. The beatings, the fear, the children torn from their mothers. Redemption might be her goal, but justice may not allow it. Episode 10 closes with Lydia in shadow, half lit by candles. That shot wasn't random. It was symbolic. She's in between worlds now, between obedience and rebellion, between faith and doubt, between being a monster and becoming something human again. So what happens next? Will Lydia break the rules she once enforced? Will she help tear down the house she spent years building? Or will Gilead swallow her whole before she gets the chance? One thing is certain. Aunt Lydia is no longer predictable. And in a world like Gilead, unpredictability is the first sign of change.